we have a lot of time in our head, the mind, talking unnecessary things, and it is charged with memories, with emotions, with a conditioning, and this mind, what we call mind, is talking and putting blocks in our life, that instead of life flowing freely, this talking mind with like and dislike, preferences, desires, fears, this blocks the way of energy flow to go through naturally and in a healthy way, we could say. And we wonder what to do about that. So first thing I would like to say is to really differentiate the mind and the intellect, to call it like that. So the intellect would be the tool that we use. It's just a neutral tool that we use to make calculation, to plan something, like we would use any tool, right? In opposition to the mind with a noisy machine, and which is always referring to his own preferences, like and dislike, and so on. So it's an ego-based part of the mind, and it taking us in a kind of shape of energy, of restless energy. So I'm sure all of us have noticed that. Is it right? Did you notice that restless energy of the mind inside of your head? It can manifest also in the physical body in a form of this restlessness, so of the mind. So how it expresses itself? When there is anything presenting itself in front of it, it asks, oh, what should I do now? What's next? And is commentating on what's happening, and often coming in opposition with what is happening in the moment. And it's make its own story and referring to past, going to future. So it's going around a lot like that. And so he is restless. His main object is he want to control. So it's a control-based behavior of the mind, but ego-based mind, right? So, and he's in this polarity. We talked often about that, in this polarity of I like, I don't like, and desires and fear. So that's how it works. But if we could, when we sit, we can do it when we sit, but also practice that in daily life, to look at this restless mind and step back from it. And look at it and seeing with a clear understanding that he is so restless because its root is I, the ego. So if we could trace back the root of the restless mind to I, then we would keep our attention there, and the mind becomes silent by going at the root of the mind. And that's the real silence, not the silence which is in opposition to noise, but it's more about the inner noise of the mind. So, because they speak in India about the muna, the silence, some sadhu also do even physical silence for many years. But the real silence is this silence if we can find the root. Because our main problem is what is our agitating mind, which is reacting to things by should not, to physical problem, health problem, relationship, money. All is worried about everything. So he's always in this buzz. Not always. We have some rest, luckily, sometimes, but especially in deep sleep. But this is, I think, a so important point to understand clearly, because it's also connected Also with, if you listen to the inner sound also, you can use that in addition. If you don't have this, you also can do the same. But you can focus on this. It's like a point, a still point inside of us. When we will do it as a meditation after, but to, if you like, to step back from this noise and to trace back to the root of it. Because we can look at the content of the mind for edges and try to heal the mind and this and that, and it's not really working because it stays in its own field of doing, time and space, mind. So it will never work. The only thing which will work, if you can use this word, is to realize that it's not working. Whatever we'll do with the mind will never work. So it's to step back, first maybe as a witness, consciousness, and try to catch this root, I. And the more you do that, you will see that the mind will lose its, because it loses its power. So it will resist, of course, because it wants to survive. Ego has a really sense of, he has this illusion to exist, and he wants to stay alive. So it's there's nothing wrong with that. It's a very natural tendency of preservation from ego mind to stay in this buzz, inner buzz inside of the head. But if we are tired enough about this noise, and we are really attracted by silence and peace, then life will arrange and grace will pull us beyond this and show us where is the still point beyond that, when we have to see clearly that it is the root of all the problem. Otherwise, there is no, without this ego mind, life will live at, with ups and downs, but there will be nobody to comment, it's good, it's bad, or whatever happens in life, it will be just what is happening. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. And I also would like to ask if you have question about this. Or is it clear or not clear, or because I have no idea. It's not really new, but maybe it's an angle which is a little more direct. So if you have anything to share about that, or which you feel connected with.
I think that was a bit new, because I was not sure about the sound meditation, that the sound meditation is all about the silence of the mind. That was new to me. I thought, first of all, sound meditation is you listen to one tone. And then I learned from you, you don't listen to a tone, you listen like to a body tone. But there is no tone. No. Well, there should not be any.
No. So I sorry, I cut you because it's not that, and you can tell me after. No, there is really sounds that we hear when we are initiated in that path, but the silence is even in Saint Mat, in the book of Baba Sawan Singh, for example, he says, first, people who practice that, there is a shabd. The shabd Brahm means the sound. And through the sound, it will lead you to the Ashabd Brahm, mean to the silence. So the sound is only a means to find the silence, the peace. The sound is not the end in itself. It is a tool to lead you to silence. So because the sound come from silence. So I was saying that in addition to the tool which I share with you now, if you have also the sound, you can, that's what I do, you find the still point, the root of the mind, of the ego mind, as a focus, and if you have the sound, in addition to that, they meld together, because it is the same. The root is, it manifests as I or as sound. So it's not easy to understand that with the mind, but in the book of Baba Sawan Singh, he also expressed that. The first expression of the absolute is either the one or I or the sound light, like that. So it depends how you see it. But the silence is the final thing that on every path it's beyond everything. So, and it's not something which is somewhere else. This is what we are invited to realize, that the self or this silence is our true nature. But even to say silence, it's not really that. No words will fit, but it is the most understandable way to express, because when there is not the noise of the mind, ego mind, then there is peace. Silence. You understand? In this way, we speak like that, in this way. But I would say that it's beyond, the mind cannot touch it, describe what it is. The mind has no access to that. So it's not... but that's why they say, put effort. As long as you have a sense of doing, put effort. And at some point, you will not be able to put effort, because it will be more like grace pulling you. So it's like you put effort until you realize, oh, there's a kind of shift slowly happen, and it feels like it's working by itself somehow. And so I speak from where I am now, but so it's you can experience that shift. But anyway, what is very accessible to all of us is to find this, because this is what if we are on a spiritual quest or path, I guess we are tired of the mind, right? And of suffering, and of feeling separate from the outside, from God, from the world, to have this quest. So, but this sense of these sufferings come from that. From the root cause is ego, mind. So that's why if we learn to go there, and before there, it's like the root of ego is, if you go trace it, then it takes its source in silence. And silence it does not depend on being on the physical plane, astral plane, or such kind, or anything. It's different kind of experiences, but the self is always the self, and that is silence or the peace. That rarely a master like Ishwar Puri from Saint Mat talked about that, and I'm thankful to him, because usually they don't speak about that, but he come to the same conclusion like other master of Advaita and other like that. So then everybody is on the same plate, I would say, like that. Is it more clear, Hans, or?
Okay.
No, say anything.
I feel like the point is when my mind gets silent, I get sleepy.
Yeah, so this is called dullness.
How can I be sharp?
Yes, but now you understand this is the two aspects of the mind, dullness or restlessness. And it shifts from one to the next. And in the middle, there is a middle path. The path of the Buddha or the masters, neither dullness, neither restlessness.
Frank, can you repeat the word? Are you saying
dullness, tamas, tamas.
Droolness, are you saying droolness?
Yes, my pronunciation may be not so good. Dullness, to be tamasic, to be like heavy, sleepy, like that. So it's the opposite of restless.
Tamas.
Tamas, yes. It's one of the gunas, the three gunas, tamas, raja, sattva.
Okay, I think there's something about in Gita about this.
Yeah, everywhere, yes. So, you see, it's good to notice that the mind, ego, mind, want not to be here. Its basic function is to avoid to be here. Because its own life is depending on that. His motto in life is to not be here. So he's always in.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, he live in past, future, in dullness or restlessness,
Yeah.
and this
Okay.
restlessness is an avoidance of discomfort or avoidance of something which is here. Because when we like
Yeah.
it, when the person is behaving as we like, then we say, oh, I feel good, I would like to be like this forever. But when another person does not, then we want to go away from that situation, or we block, or we hide, or something. So this is a controlling system of the ego, who has preferences. He like comfort, avoid discomfort, and that preferences is the trap. That's why Buddha said desire is a root of the problem, and the opposite of desire is fear. So that's the two wings: fear and desire. Desire is I want, pulling, and fear is oh I'm afraid, I pushing. So it's always these two poles. And if you notice, this restlessness is controlled by this one, who does not like to be here, because here is heaven, here is peace, but the mind does not like peace. This is the problem. Silence. But the soul is craving for peace and silence and real love, unconditional love, and so on. But the mind is not. So he has a different job. So, but it's only if we don't see. It's only if we. Oh, it was cut internet or what?
What?
No, it's good. No, I thought there was internet cut. Yes. Yes, so the mind seems to be an enemy, but it's only as long as we don't see that the root cause of it is, if we can step back from it and see, oh, like we do, I told you a number of times, what we can do with emotion and energy, step back from it and see, okay, you are not me, I see you, I don't push you away, but I don't identify. Identify is also, again, pulling, and suppressing is pushing. So it's always the same attitude. So same. Now if we can go, because we can do it with number of energies, number of emotions, all kind of things, we can do this practice. Neither identifying, neither suppressing, right? But now if we go at the root of all this, the root ego, I, which is a root of all this game, if we could step back from I and look at it and say, I see you, but I don't suppress you or identify with you. I just, you see it like he is seen, in the daylight by consciousness. And he is seen as the root of this restlessness. But it's not, you see as not you. And you say, oh, so you look at this restless energy and stay quiet. If you are one with it, then you are going on the merry-round like that. You see? So it's kind of the merry-round is going around, and suddenly you realize, oh, I can step out of it, and I look at it silently. Oh.
But I'm about to fall asleep then.
Yes. So you have maybe to find some way to stay here, because dullness is another escape of the mind. So that's why to notice, how it's going to dullness, how to stay awake, how to stay conscious, present. And if it happens, it happens if you go to sleep. But to see how it's going in this kind of energy or in this kind, from restlessness to dullness. And for different people, it will be different expression, different experience. So we have different patterns. So, and then, of course, when we are in this quiet space, then if we have a master or a practice, it's much more easier. You have to do nothing, just to be here, and whatever you do will be more easy because you do nothing. In truth, it's a belief that we do something, that we have to do something, and as long as we feel that, we do. But until we realize more and more that we are not doing anything, and life, God does not ask us to do anything, just to be. And to be, when we realize our true nature more and more as being, then life can move itself in a more easy way, in a more aligned way, and without all this, because all this noise in the head, when you meet a situation, example, you want to reach a point somewhere, but on the way you meet someone who behave like this, and you will spend time maybe to tell him something, or to lose times here and there, here and there, here and there, and you don't reach your goal, or you take much longer time. So it's all this conditioning in the mind and stuff that you carry, which make our life more complicated. So to learn to look at the simple one inside of us. And this simple one is what is prior to ego mind, and to stand as this simple one. Go back to simplicity. And the mind is not the simple one. And from simplicity, if we use intellect, without emotional charge or conditioning, then life is very much more free. So that's invitation, and we can, as also Ishwar Puri said, we can enjoy the show more like that. When it is overloaded with emotion and conditioning and fears and desires, then it is so much sounds around. Yes, which is not always, but yes. So the silence and the peace is always here. You just have to learn to notice it.
Okay, now imagine we're doing a meditation soon, and we're sitting there, we're listening to your voice. What can I do to not fall asleep?
Do you have someone by your side to pinch you?
Maybe a special kind of breathing would give me so much power that I don't fall asleep. I'm kind of...
Yes, maybe. It can be like you research any kind of trick, so there is one trick, definitely, is to have a posture which is neither too comfortable or uncomfortable, in between.
Yeah, totally right. Yeah.
So if it's too comfortable, we will fall asleep, and if it's too uncomfortable, you will not be able to be stable. So that's one thing you can definitely do to change, maybe to sit without support on your back or something like that, on the floor, to be a little bit hard with your mind, not with you because you are the beautiful one, but with the mind.
Yeah, that's what they do in the Zen meditation. There's a monk running around with a stick, and he's slapping the guys.
Yes, you have already shaved head, so you can sit on the floor and you can have also like a Tibetan bowl, and when you feel you are going to sleep, you ding. You can be your own Zen master. So maybe we do a meditation together.
Good morning.
Oh, namaste.
Tanya?
Sorry, I didn't know.
Good. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Guruji.
Yes, thank you, Guruji. Yes. So we are about to start a meditation.
Okay.
And so we have been introducing the subject, so it will easy. Yes. And nice to see you, Punamji.
Thank you.
So maybe you read it. I was giving a theme which was to awaken to the peace of the inner silence. So for this Guru Purnima, and so we'll do practically as we talked about it, and so we close our eyes. If you can switch off your mic, we can put it again on after. Come back to breathing in the abdomen. Just noticing how it is unfolding as a miracle, unnoticed miracle. Which is silently working together with all what is happening in the universe, on the physical plane, all the planets, and on any plane. So there is movement, and the breathing is reminding us this breathing of the universe. Can take a few deep breaths. Present to the place. So we have a sitting position which is neither too comfortable, neither too uncomfortable, just to stay awake. And we notice if there is some restlessness inside of us, which might manifest in the mind or as an energy manifestation in the body. Nothing to do about it, just noticing the restlessness, if there is. So I briefly repeat what was said before. The importance of seeing and realizing that the root cause of restlessness of the mind is ego, mine or me, who does not like to be here, who tend to control the outer and the inner, wondering what will be next, what should I do when something happens, worried about anything. So to see the root cause of the restlessness of the mind, which prevent us to enjoy the flow of life, a natural flow of life. Because this ego mind is charged with conditioning and emotional memories, whatever is keeps the mind agitated with its preferences, its desires and fears. And especially for this day of Guru Purnima, to realize that it is that ego mind which is preventing us to receive and to feel the flow of divine energy, divine presence. Or rather stillness. So we can just step back, literally as we would step back with our feet with our body. We just, from this restlessness, we silently step back and see it as not me. See it, understanding why is always on the go, on the merry-round, because he's navigating between fear and desires. So we don't have to do anything about that, just silently step out of it. We can connect with the breathing, or connect with our master, or with the inner sound at the same time. And bath in the real silence, which is always here. Which the noise of the mind is preventing us to enjoy this peace. So if we are tired of this noise of the mind, we have to learn to step out of it. We don't have to change anything in this world or in the character, just to step out silently. And just to enjoy being being which can never leave us. Whatever comes and go, whatever is on the any plane, physical or any other planes, comes and goes. Only this silent experiencer, the self, the peace, is never coming, never going. It is not depending on anything. So if we can taste that, we'll gain more strength to step out of the mind, that we don't need. We absolutely don't need the emotional and conditioned mind. We can use the intellect for any task we have to do, but the ego mind we don't need. It just complicates our life. Because the mind like complication. And if we are enough tired, we'll come back to simplicity. Just noticing the simple one inside of us, who need nothing. Who is always satisfied, Purnam, full. And for that there is nothing to do, rather stopping to go anywhere, letting the body-mind do what he has to do, but staying here. This inner clarity of the root cause of suffering, the root cause of the restless mind, is of utmost importance to understand and to see how it works and why whatever we will do will not really work, because it belongs to this plane. So that's why the ultimate medicine is to stay where you are, which is appearing as stepping out of identification with the merry-round of the mind. And then you are open to receive the grace as it wants, when it wants. And if we have a master, just to think about a guru or a master in which we trust, just can bring back to that peace. With this clear understanding. of the root cause of the restless mind. So we realize that the fullness is already here, and whatever we are running after in the world, people, money, or anything, will not add anything to the fullness that we are already. So we can enter the world from that inner space of fullness and going in the world from this fullness or generosity. Generosity rather than a needy one who approach life as a needy. So thank you to all the masters and whoever is bringing us here. To realize that. And the more the intensity of our craving for that, to stay in that, then life will give all the support according to our sincerity and so can come back together for sharing some words. If you like.
What I needed, thank you.
Huh?
That's exactly what I needed, so thank you.
Yeah, I think we all need that, yes. Yes. Good. Yes. Good. Yes, it's not always huh? Somebody said something? No. So yes, I could just 1 second.